You traveled across the US on 1 penny, but right at the end, you raised
$1.4 million for Feeding America, which translates to
14 million meals.
I was so impressed by every single episode.
You got 54 million unique views,
You were on the trending tab multiple times.
2.6 million new subscribers in 30 days,
You were number 1 on trending.
and 7.5 million average views per video.
That's the most insane stat to me. I decided I was trying to make like a Ryan Trahan, like whatever is most unique to me video series. We sat there for 3 hours asking ourselves, why are we making this? I'm gonna go out there and just be myself.
I think just being yourself is extremely liberating, and it is possible to achieve in that way. It's like, what song just feels like me? What font feels like me? What video feels like me? So we're trying to lean more into humanity of things and kind of things that are more ironic.
I'm not gonna worry about getting crazy shots. I'm not gonna worry about over planning.
I realized I need to focus on what's gonna fire me up for this next project, and it really comes down to that like passion.
You know, like look around and don't put yourself in a box and allow yourself to get passionate about a project. That's really probably gonna be your best work. I haven't had a flop since having this mindset, and I think that we just crave authenticity and realism.
And I feel like ultimately, it feels like the ideas we end up doing, there is precedent for.
It's okay for me to be not super produced. It's okay for me to just be myself, try to be funny and awkward, and just got into a fun video.
It's a fun process, and our hypothesis right now is that like these traditional bangers where you're doing something super sensational isn't necessarily people want to click on as much. That's what I've experienced. It feels like I've tried to focus on just telling the stories in a different way.
Don't force emotional transformation.
Yes.
Because that comes across as inauthentic.
I think that's the beauty of your channel though, is like it's very authentically you. Like the Ryan that I see on the channel and the Ryan I know in real life are like the same people.
Yeah.
Right? You like don't put on a character.
So the idea of originality and plagiarism, it's kind of like, I kind of feel like I'm walking the line many times. Like I don't even know necessarily which side I'm defending sometimes, because I'll be inspired by another YouTuber and I'm like, wait, did I just like sort of copy that?
I want to create something that's really special and strategic, but also I'm excited about.
I'm just a human being, or I don't want to build an empire or anything. I think it's kind of come to this version of contentment I think I've found in sort of not needing to be the biggest YouTuber in the world, and sort of not needing to be the best CEO or boss, making all the best business moves, and just finding what feels good. I just want to connect with people and make videos I love. It's been empowering to kind of like just have a small team. There's also the conversation of recognition too. That's like a form of currency for a lot of teams. Like they want to be appreciated.
I think the biggest thing was going up and talking to people. You transform through these like micro interactions and through these like very, very small moments.
Like what are we doing here if not to contribute to society in some way? So if I could leave anything, I think it's just the fact that you don't have to be whatever the mainstream is. And there is a pocket of positivity that people want in their life. Like people want to have positive content, wholesome content.
Wow, I feel like better. I got to just like learn more about people throughout the series by saying hi or howdy.
Like that's what all art does. It's supposed to have a message. It's supposed to have a purpose.
I think that the things that make us unique as creators are the things that most people just overlook.
And so it is important to be intentional. Like I think about even how fonts communicate to people.
Like I am so particular about font choices.
Like I changed my font from being somewhat more corporate to something that's like so normal, that's just on everyone's computer. And it just feels more like me.
You're like trying to communicate to the audience who you are at all times.
And then I asked myself, like, how could I do this with viral concepts?
And so I'm like so particular. I think that those like small details,
that is what I have to do. I have to do good titles and thumbnails that grab people's attention. I've basically made it a mission to make overly positive, wholesome, optimistic content.
like we focus so much more on that than like high level storytelling or like all these other things. So it's really just about communicating to the audience who I am.
And it comes down to realism too, like with the thumbnails. And I found that realistic thumbnails just feel like me. It feels like, yeah, if my face is not like, then I feel more connected to the thumbnail. If I'm just making a very subtle face that's like, because it's realistic and I'm like, oh, that's legit.
And I realized like you upload a video and the viewership lifespan is forever.
I feel like in the past, I was not even acknowledging the idea of what the viewer wanted and even what I wanted. But thinking about what are my biggest strengths, how can I be creative? And sometimes I think frequency is another way to do that. Like, as long as I keep putting out great videos, even a flop is going to do well long term. I genuinely just love the process of YouTube. Like, the amateurism is so fun. It was almost like, okay, I run a YouTube channel and I should do this because the people at the top are doing it. So it's kind of all over the place, but a lot of it is just trying to get 1 degree better every week, just improving like what we think YouTube's headed towards. And so there's just so much freedom in taking that pressure of being immediately successful right now and #1 in the world right now, and realizing like you're on your own path, you're on your own journey, and you have time to execute the vision that you want. Redemptive work. That's our motto this year. This is basically the framework we developed. It's redemptive work versus exploitative work. Chart outlined everything, even just like general capitalism and how typically the goal is to exploit others to benefit from them. And I feel like YouTube inherently is exploitative.
Yeah.
Like retention, you can exploit that. You can exploit people's tendencies to stay if you do this and that. I really wanted to think of YouTube differently, and I really wanted to figure out a way to make the videos we're making not feel exploitative. And if you look at the what, how, why, you're basically seeing that the what of exploitative work, meaning like retention, is a primary focus. Exploiting CTR in any way possible to get like as many views as possible. Doesn't matter what it takes, doesn't matter who gets hurt in the process, we win by force. And that's the reality, dude. Like I felt like I saw that on YouTube even. People that are posting videos that clearly are not something that they're passionate about. Doing something that's good enough for people to click on it, and then hopefully making an experience that's good enough to where they watch the whole thing so you make money. The audience doesn't feel rejuvenated by that content. They don't feel like inspired by that content.
Goal is numbers, views, money.
Redemptive works, it basically flips everything on its head. It says instead of trying to toil for rewards, toil for profit. And basically what that means is, like creating restoration in people's lives rather than essentially trying to get views to make profit. It's for restoration in the consumer. We are going to creatively instill in this project as much as we can so that whoever receives it as a gift and is rejuvenated by it. Or you can make the storyline something that is literally actively energizing them and making them think about what their perspectives are and adding to their lives. Finally, the why. This is like the coolest to me. It's the exploitative version of doing anything. To like, let's just do whatever it takes. Let's just win. Let's win by force. There will be people that lose, but we need to be the victors. We need to make money, and anything that stands in our way is going to die. Yeah. The redemptive version of that is we serve for the greater good. We're going to create for restoration. Instead of exhausting ourselves to just make an extra buck. The idea of like being able to serve for the greater good is so much more empowering than trying to win by force. And so the whole point of redemptive work is to not be selfish with what you create. It's just like a level of even treating your team right and even like treating the people around you right that help you make what you make. And the more that we've been able to pour into the videos creatively to give a gift to people, the more success we've seen. Yeah. The more views that we're seeing. And I think that you can still be strategic without following whatever the meta is right now. The videos that I've made that are the best are purely out of like the Metaverse video is my favorite video I've ever made. Love making that. Yeah, it was so much fun, and like I did it because I was so passionate. Like I saw something, I saw an opportunity to do something that I thought was exciting, and I saw an opportunity to make something that felt like more than just like a YouTube video that I wanted to get views. But I think it's because the audience can appreciate when something is made out of love and it's made out of more than just algorithmically optimized content farm type of channel, you know?
I would like to describe your channel as, I would say, the healthiest channel on YouTube. This is, for me, mental health happiness. And I think you got that very comfortable, very low stakes attitude towards this rather than putting the pressure on yourselves. You're allowing yourselves to do what you would like to do, what you love, what makes you happy. And then that attitude transcends through the video, and we feel that as well.
This is what's crazy about this whole thing too, because like the content we were making a year ago or 2 years ago, if we still try to do it, it's not going to be received as well as it used to. Last year, 2021, I posted 33 videos on my channel, and I didn't take any breaks. Good job, Ryan. But this year,
In 2022, we're posting 56 videos this year. Almost double the output with like 5 months off. Next year, we'll have 6 months where we're not actually filming. Realizing that we can actually give them more videos while resting is kind of a crazy realization.
Just realizing that you can go much farther together than you can on your own has been like, you know, that cheesy quote.
If this adventure has taught me anything, it's that life really isn't about the journey or destination. It's about the people you're doing it with. I can't tell if I'm crying or if it's just the wind. Yes! Yes!
Thank you! Finally, after 30 days of watching, I have finally received the penny.